Hey everybody, Kenny here. So in this build video, we're going over my Gladiator build, which I don't have a name for because this is a character that I've honestly, like I've reset this guy so many times, and they've gone through so many different builds over the years. Just testing stuff out. But this is just an interesting one that I did during this league. Well, yeah, after the reset during this league, because it was an idea that kind of came to me while I was working on my Inquisitor playthrough. Like I had in passing mentioned that I thought that the blind support gem just wasn't something I would ever use. And while I actually stick by that, and I'm not using it in this build, like it did make me think about using the Blood in the Eyes Ascendancy passive, which is kind of like what this is all built around. So in this Gladiator build, I kind of am using the idea of just leaning hard into the whole, your attacks cause bleeding, attacks against enemies that are bleeding cause maim. Attacks against enemies that are bleeding have a chance to blind. Enemies that are maimed take increased damage. Just kind of like leaning into that whole like synergy that the Gladiator gets. So starting out, we go straight for attack speed, then additional attack speed, more dexterity, remove the armor penalty, grab all the health, grab the increased evasion armor there. These originally weren't part of anything. I settled on grabbing these because the sustain on this character wasn't great. And I needed a way to keep them capable of performing their attacks. So I grab these. I got Master of the Arena, so for the extra regen, the extra strength. The melee strike range and increased melee physical don't matter. You head down here. You get the increased life and increased regen. Grab the flat life from there. Grab the increased evasion armor and elemental resistances from these. And also we grab the increased evasion and armor from frenzy and endurance charges respectively. Then over down this line, grab the additional stats from intelligence and strength. Now we head over here to get the additional evasion armor, as well as improving our onslaught effect. We also gain the chance of gaining onslaught on kill, and then getting an additional pump to our armor and evasion rating while onslaught is in effect. Then we grab this mastery to improve our evasion rating even further based on armor that we have in our gloves. And at the moment, that's actually not in use. I actually did mean to switch off to a pair of plate gloves, but at some point I just forgot that I was doing that, and it just occurred to me while I was reading that I never went and updated the gloves. Right now we're just using evasion gloves, meaning that this does nothing. Or that this does nothing right now. But I had grabbed that for additional additional defenses, but it does nothing right now. And this little line, this is for all the blind stuff. So we get extra crit while the enemies are blinded. We get increased chance to blind on hit. And since bleeding enemies, because we are invested in blood in the eyes, we already have a 25% chance to blind against bleeding enemies. So now this just pumps it an extra 10%. And from here, we get an additional 20% on top of that. We increase the blind effect itself. And we gain even further boost to our critical strike chance against blinded enemies. And then for the blind mastery, we went even further in on the whole increased crit chance against blinded enemies thing. Then we head down here, invested in these sword nodes to get increased damage when using attack skills with swords. More attack damage, more damage from attacks with swords. And even further damage with attack with swords. But the whole point of going through here didn't really have to do with that damage that we're getting from our swords. It was really just to get the 120% increased critical strike chance while you're using swords. So we get a huge pump on that. Our critical strike multiplier is reduced, but it's fine. Like, the point isn't for, like, you know, we're not doing it for the damage that we get from critical strikes. We're doing it for essentially. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that part yet. Yeah. Well, I'll show that when we get there. So we got the big bonus to our crit on that. Then we head up here. We get further crit while dual wielding. We get more accuracy while dual wielding and a little bit of crit multiplier. And so basically, like, we're like the 20% loss from here, we're kind of making up there. But that's not the reason for going through here. But we do get additional accuracy while dual wielding. Nice. And then at the end, we get that huge bump to the critical strike chance while dual wielding. And the mastery picked up is the even further chance to maim one hit and crit chance to blind enemies with offhand hits. And then this is just more life, chance to avoid elemental ailments. And we didn't grab the mastery in this. Oh, and I did grab some extra elemental resistances and global accuracy from there. And so the idea for all that is that we are using so none of this is being used. So these actually I'll go over our equipment, and then I'll go over the gems. So gloves, we just have some 4-link gloves, evasion gloves. Now it's got some resistances on it. Nothing special. It's got some added cold damage to attacks. So pretty nice. Extra evasion. This is our armor evasion boots. A little extra flat life. We got some good resistances on it. Our ring is a critical strike, additional critical strike, global critical strike ring. More accuracy. Lots of flat life, which is really nice. The mana per kill, which is good. Tiny bit of elemental damage for attack skills, doesn't matter. I crafted the physical damage, the physical attack damage, like leeches life, onto both rings. And the reason I did that was, at the time, I was trying to do everything with life tap. And so I was trying to, get additional sustain going using that, so I didn't have to worry about mana. But eventually I just caved and went for the mana regen that I showed in the tree. And grabbed parity. Because it just wasn't working out as being a a life leech build, like the way that things were going. Now this ring, additional resistances, some more mana regen, and some rarity on there. We got a Rakutiki, which isn't really all that great of a talisman to be wearing at this point in the game, but it has a good amount of fire resist on it and some nice flat life. But like this isn't a low life build, so having that bonus evasion and regen doesn't really do anything for us. Our armor, we got some more resistances on there, some strength, some spell, a tiny bit of spell suppression. Both armor and evasion rolled on that, which was nice. So it's much higher than what you would normally see on this particular base. Our helmet, another armor evasion piece. We got some more. We got 10% accuracy boost, which is really nice. We once again rolled armor and evasion, which is good, and we got a percentage increase to armor and evasion. So really good piece. Then the rest, I guess a little bit of stun recovery, which is good, but doesn't really do much else for us. Our weapons are just some basic rapiers. I mean, like, there's nothing super special about these. I mean, I'm not going to say that these are bad. I mean, these are rapiers that, that I've found over the years that I thought were really good for this character. But, they aren't amazing, which is why he's wearing these and not something else. Today, I just wanted to show that, you don't need to have amazing weapons on, even though these are pretty good. So, and the belt is Prandis Blazon, which I mainly have this on for, further fire resist, and then for the plus 29 tall attributes. I guess that's really the only reason this is on this character. Like, I wasn't sure that I'd be able to make all my stat choices if I didn't have something like that on. But but if I didn't have that, then I would have just put on something like this Dread Rosary, which is why I have this sitting right here. So gem-wise, a lot of what this character has on right now aren't being used by the build. So the riposte, I mean, that's just extra counter attack damage. The reason that this is on is because this character, before I reset them during this league, this character was set up as a dual wield block chance character. So your counterattacks deal double damage. That's the reason that I had that on there. But it's no reason not to have that. I mean, I already had it on. I already had it sitting on the character, so why not? And I showed that the clarity is there for the stain that we didn't have from these rings. I added Blood Rage because I was not able to pull off so this character is using a conjunction of cast on critical strike with Splitting Steel and Blade Fall, and doing some additional life leech with that. And so, like, I was really trying to make it that I could use Blade Blast with this character, but it wasn't happening. Like, it didn't feel good. Like, I couldn't get it to work right. I mean, like, I should say work right. Like, I couldn't get it to feel right with this character. And so I just removed it from... And so, like, the gems are still here, but I just removed it from there. Here, like, none of these are being used by anything. Like these were from when this character was still a block chance character, so it was supporting this dual strike right here. That's what these are. But now all that's really there is the swording blades that I'm using as this character's escape. So the Blood Rage replaced Blade Blast as our as our secondary skill here. And since our primary skill is Splitting Steel, we have Call of Steel right there. And up here, we just have all of our auras. Precision, Enduring Cry, well, Precision, War Banner. And this added cold damage isn't actually doing anything, because that doesn't do anything for any of these. And basically, it's just a placeholder until like I can get maybe a 5 link for this character that can you add the added cold damage to it, or the to get rid of all these and maybe 5 link this the Splitting Steel here. Yeah, so we have our Precision, our War Banner, and our Clarity. I haven't been really leveling those because I don't want the additional mana pool on this. So if you head out, see, like, we're already consuming about a third of our bar just with these 3. But we're at 100%. Not on against evasive monsters, but normal hits. Like, we're at 100% right now. So like anytime if I see that dip below 100%, then I'll level these up. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it the way they are. I don't want to worry about that. Yeah, so the way this character works is, so it's a Call of Steel character. You're using one of the Steel series. I'm using Splitting Steel here, but, it's just as effective with, I'm forgetting the name. I know Lancing Steel is the one where it's like you put like a little spinning thing out and it shoots out swords against, like you put out like a kind of like a static thing, and so it's like I can't think of the name. It's kind of like a temporary little like turret thing, very temporary little turret. But yeah, but like that one, like I don't know if that one would be as effective in this. But the one that does like the shotgun blast, that one would probably be a bit more effective. But, I just, like I had one of these just at the ready. So I picked the Splitting Steel instead of whatever the other one was called. Yeah, so the idea here is this is basically a 1 skill character. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you're going up against. Your idea is just Blood Rage and then go. Yeah. Just go in. Yeah, make sure remember to do Call of Steel every now and then. Get your to get your shards back. But very effective. Highly durable. And since we are since we're specialized in, well, we have the mastery that allows us to further improve our defenses if we have endurance and frenzy charges up, and that's the main reason why I picked Blood Rage like instead of like some other buff. Like it's really not. I like, you could use like a hex there or a mark or something. You know, to whatever it is that you like to play. Or like a big thing that I like about this character, like the way that blade fall works, and the way that the like the shards on splitting steel work. If you have groups of enemies attack you, like you don't have to worry about aiming at anything. Because the shards cause, like the shards chain to enemies that are near you or near the enemy that you're hitting. And the blades fall on the nearest enemy. So sometimes, like you'll be attacking something and you'll see the blades dropping on enemies that are behind you, So like you're always hitting anything that's on screen with you is getting hit by this. And making this like a lot of fun to use. And you can see we're blinding basically everything we hit. Yeah, very effective. I can't say I felt any pressure with this character yet. That's definitely something I recommend trying out. And again, and it's an interesting interaction of skills. Like, if you've checked out my other stuff, like, you may be aware that, my goal with a lot of my builds is just to get it to a point where, I can do pretty much everything with just, like, 1 or 2 buttons. Like, that's what I like doing when I make a build. Like, I'll occasionally, like, to make a character work, I'll do more than, more than 2 buttons, but for the most part, like, I like having like a character that works basically on just doing being really good at doing one thing. Yeah, so that's the build. It's honestly, this is probably of all the builds I've recommended so far, this is probably the easiest to put together, I would say. Because, I mean, you start a character, you're grabbing attack speed, you're grabbing, the ignoring the armor penalty, so you never lose your movement, regardless of what you decide to put on. You get life and you get defenses right there. You get some regen. If you choose to go this way, you have lots of great options. Like if you wanted to go with like some elemental skill like Frost Blades or whatever it's called, then you have elemental equilibrium right there, so you could go and like do some kind of like cheeky stuff with using Frostblade or whatever it's called to create exposure for like a different skill that different attack skill that's using fire or lightning. Or you can go in here, get some leech and some extra damage on leeching while leeching. You get some ignite here, extra attack speed with the like along with that. There's a Val Pact right here, so if you were to go through all this life leech stuff, you could go and make your your leeches apply their recovery value instantly, or grab some extra armor and evasion from here with the extra suppress. You can grab some suppress right here. You got evasion and phasing right there. So lots of defensive options as well. Has tons of just attack options of whatever you wanted to do. Like if you didn't want to do dual wielding, and you wanted to ignore this side over here, or ignore going down here. Like you got projectile stuff. You've got maces. You've got two-handed. You can go with shields. Lots of different options you can do. That's why Duelist was probably Duelist and Witch were like the first two classes that I decided to do all of the different tendencies with. Because I like the versatility that their paths offer. I mean, like, Shadow was also one that I've always really liked the path versatility. But but I really like the Duelist tree. Again, it gives you, or starting region. Because it always provides lots of different options. You can head over here, get Fortify, you get over here, get War Cry stuff. Like the way I would move forward, like for offensive options with the way I have this character built right now, is I would head for this bleed spot here. Mostly because you increase the damage with the bleeds and give your attacks increased chance to bleed, as well as increasing the attack damage you do against enemies that are bleeding. So you get lots of benefits there. The mastery, for the mastery, I'd go for the increased critical strike chance against bleeding enemies, just to make our blade fall trigger more often. If you wanted to focus on the blade fall damage, then you probably want to head out here to go for like the physical damage up here. Like maybe go for like the ones on this side you can't really get to too quick. I think it's all the way over here. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend heading out that way just to get some physical. But But this way you get, you can invest in more health, you can invest in more attack speed, you can get some rage if you wanted. You can go and invest in mana for guard skills. There's always like there's lots of neat options if you like playing with guard skills. And then you get further elemental options there. Yeah, like I said, like I really like the duelist pathing. I'd also head over here for the extra regen and more health there, as well as you have these extra resistances and armor. Yeah, so lots of options you go for with a duelist. You go, focus more on the charges. You got both of these. You got these around here to make it that not only do your charges do more stuff, but you also gain an additional chance to gain frenzy charges on kill, or frenzy endurance charges on kill. Yeah, so like no matter what your ideal gladiator is, there's tons of cool options here to go with. Yep. So if you are still deciding on what you want to go with this league, and this is definitely a build I highly recommend. It's very cool, a lot of fun, lots of versatility in how you want to build them. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, then I appreciate doing all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.